Are you ready for part 4? In uncertain future, my BokuAkaKuroKen Omegaverse you, and here we go with one of the longest parts. Don't get used to it, this is a nightmare to edit. Have you ever had struggles finding good Haikyuu merch or anime merch in general? Because I for sure did. It can be hard. But this shop offers amazing merch. Like, I'm literally obsessed with the Haikyuu merch. They have the cutest hoodies ever. Now, if you want to get 10% off, click the link in the description. They offer me a collaboration which is literally amazing. And you support my channel this way. So, win-win. Let's go. Yamaguchi had just placed a cup of chamomile tea on Kenma's nightstand and closed the door behind him as silently as possible, when suddenly 2 strong arms wrapped around him from behind. He recognized the scent of herbs and fresh dandelions immediately as Tsukishima's and eased into his touch. You're worried. You're not? He shook his head and gently nuzzled his nose against his Omega's scent gland. I understand, and I am too, but I'm sure he has his reasons. Yamaguchi gulped, but nodded slowly. He came here to get some space and cleared his head to deal with whatever it is that is burdening him. We should give him that. A tender smile tugged at the corners of Tsukishima's lips. And in case he needs a distraction, I'm sure Sho will be happy to oblige. The other chuckled and hummed thoughtfully. Yeah, it's just hard to see him suffer. The whole room reeks of his distress, and somehow he still manages to feel bad for being a nuisance. It's ridiculous. Tsukishima half amused as he smelled the hint of spicy anger tainting Yamaguchi's scent. He hugged him even tighter and gently guided him to the living room. I know, and you are, of course, right. The other rolled his eyes and a small pout appeared on his face. But it's not that easy. Just because it seems blatantly obvious to us doesn't mean that it's the same for him. I mean, back in high school, everyone from the club, and even people not, strangers basically, acquaintances at best, told me that you liked me. Yet, I was an idiot and denied the truth that someone this amazing. He kissed his cheek gently, then his neck, until it tickled and Yamaguchi was forced to laugh. And kind, and caring, and overall incredible person would like me back, causing both of us unnecessary years of mutual pining. His hands wandered to his sides and started tickling him for real. Tsuki, stop! He almost couldn't speak through the waves of laughter bubbling up in his chest, even though he tried to prevent it. Really, after that I was prepared for you sending me to hell, for ignoring all of your very obvious, maybe a bit clumsy attempts at flirting, or... The Omega's face turned bright red. said stop. He covered the blonde's mouth with his hands. Slowly, the alpha pried the hands from his mouth again, holding them to either side of their bodies. His gaze was one of deep affection, the most Tadashi had ever witnessed. But you didn't. I will forever be grateful for that. The fact that you accepted me, a stoic and stupid alpha, as your mate, me out of all people, means the world to me. He leaned forward until their foreheads touched. I would do it 1,000,000 times over again. And I would love you 1,000,000 times over again for it. Their eyes closed as Tsukishima's hands traced his neck up to his jawline until he kept his face. I already do. Yamaguchi leaned into his touch and savored the moment in his mind forever. He chuckled as their peaceful silence was disturbed by the sound of something crashing from their garden. And we picked up 2 idiots on the way. Oh, come on. You are totally smitten with them. The smaller gave him an almost teasing peck on the lips before he followed the call for chaos outside. Tsukishima managed to get his mind off the things bugging him, and he was grateful, even though at this rate it didn't seem like they were gone for long. He just hoped Kenma would recover fast. In the evening, they were all preparing dinner together, minus Kenma, who still hadn't left the guest room since he arrived. Kageyama noticed that his Omega got lost in thoughts and gently nudged him in the side, lifting a plate once he got his attention. Should I prepare an extra plate for Kenma? To bring to his room, I mean. The other blinked confused a couple of times until he seemed to understand. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Why? I thought Kenma would be eating with us. Hinata looked at them puzzled, maybe even a bit disappointed. He will, probably, but he just arrived. We should give him some more time to get settled. The ginger nodded thoughtfully before his signature bright smile reappeared. I'll bring it to him and check that he's alright. His smile fell a bit. He really didn't seem like himself today. Now it was Kageyama's turn to be confused. I thought he acted barely any different. Beside his scent, that is. Are you blind? He was totally calm and sad and quiet. Well, he is always calm and quiet. Tsuki chimed in while chopping some pepper to their right. Huh? You too? And here I thought you were supposed to be so smart. He teasingly pinched his side. Mind you, I have a knife in hand. Sure, but we both know that you would never hurt me. He confidently crossed his arms while Tsukishima just rolled his eyes and mumbled something along the lines of, "We'll see." No, Seriously. He let his arms fall to his side. Kenma hasn't been the same today. What have you expected if he suddenly calls you like that? You know this is not one of your gaming weekends, right? I know. Of course I know. I just hoped I could make him smile a bit. I don't know what is going on, and I trust Kuroo and Bokuto and Akashi-san that they would never hurt him, but I don't know what else to do. Kagema sensed the tension and stress the other managed to hide so far. Immediately he reached out and put an arm around the smaller. They all seemed to have underestimated what the worry for his best friend did to the Omega. The black-haired alpha started rubbing soothing circles over his arm and coating him in a scent that closely resembled the warm sand in a light ocean breeze. It must come as a shock to see Kenma this sad. Even when he himself couldn't really tell the difference, he still knew that something must be really wrong if he seeks distance from his mates. He couldn't come up with a scenario that would make him want that. The only logical reason he could think of was if they mistreated him, but as Hinata pointed out before, it was unlikely. Sharing a mate bond meant sharing each other's pain. It didn't stop everyone, but enough that the majority of cases of domestic violence occurred in unbonded couples. Not to mention that he knew Kenma's mates, and he couldn't imagine any one of them ever laying a hand on him in a violent way. Whatever the reason is, he is safe here and has time to figure it out. As his friends, we'll support him as good as we can. Yamaguchi handed Hinata the tray with food and water. I understand your worries. I have them too, but I'm afraid time and space are the best we can offer right now. The ginger nodded slowly, took the tray and made his way to Kenma's room. Kenma? The blonde Omega stirred awake from a restless sleep, if it could be called that. He blinked up at him with tired eyes. Here, we made you some food. He simply settled for putting it on the nightstand and stood a bit awkwardly in the room as he got no reply, already prepared to leave again when... Show you? Immediately his head perked up and he focused on Kenma. Yes? The other avoided eye contact, but to Hinata's delight didn't stop talking. Was there ever something you had the feeling you couldn't tell Kageyama or Yamaguchi or Tsukishima? Something you needed to keep secret? He thought about it for a moment before shaking his head. No, I don't think so. Is there something you think you need to hide? At first, the room was silent again, but Hinata, happy that his friend talked at all, remained patient. Kenma nodded shakily, his eyes searching for Hinata's for the first time since he entered the room. What is... He stopped himself mid-sentence and started over. I mean, you don't have to talk about it, but why do you think you need to keep it secret? I don't know. What if they hate me when I tell them? His voice almost broke and a veil of tears started clouding his vision. I'm sure they would never. Hinata walked up to his side and reached for his hand, holding it tightly in his. Suddenly, his eyes lit up with excitement. I might have never felt like this, but I think Kageyama has. He said something similar a while back. Wait, I get him. Kenma's eyes widened, but he didn't have the time to stop Hinata from scrambling to his feet and hurrying out of the room. Back home, the tension hadn't lifted one bit. With Kenma gone for an unknown amount of time, the house seemed empty and not really like home. The scent of his distress was still dominant in the air, and Kuroo couldn't shake off the feeling that he would be right there when he opened the bedroom door. A small touch at the back of his hand brought him back into reality. Akashi stood next to him and silently asked to hold his hand. Instead of simply accepting the gesture, Kuroo pulled him into an embrace, hiding his face against the black curls, dark like the depth of the oceans. It matched his sea green eyes well, and yet his scent was surprisingly sweet, like cornflowers and lilac. He's going to be okay, right? Kuroo nodded wordlessly and pulled him even closer. Bokuto dragged himself into the house behind them, looking at the hallway, his eyes immediately straying towards the bedroom door upstairs, raw with emotion. Through their bond, Kuroo could feel all the worry and stress accumulating, all the feelings and concerns they never dared put into words, and underneath all of that, the deep love that invoked this kind of reaction to Kenma's distress. The feeling that had become like a constant presence in his head these past days was now dulled, more faint at the edge of his conscious mind, but it was still there. He was glad. His gaze fell on Bokuto again, and with a sigh, he loosened the hug and put on a small smile. What do you say we order some takeout and get comfortable in front of the TV? I think we all deserve a pause now. Sounds good. Do we? The ace looked up at him, eyes threatening to gloss over and shoulders slumped. Our Omega just left us and we... Hey, he didn't leave us. He'll be back. I'm sure of it. He closed the distance between them and carefully reached out to send the towel in hopes it might help chase these ugly thoughts away. I know the situation is far from ideal, so for now, let's rest. We'll talk about what to do next tomorrow, okay? Bokuto still clenched his teeth, but nodded and relaxed a bit in Kuroo's touch. The evening could be called anything but calm or comfortable, but it helped. Something was missing, yet focusing on what was there helped. Thank you so much for watching this part till the end. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a like. It really helps this channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on the next part. Now, as mentioned, this one was longer and I don't intend to do that in the future. I currently try to keep a goal of like 15 minutes per video because this is ideal for my editing process. I hope you understand that. Though, of course, there will probably be a supercut at the end. Now, special thanks to my nerdy neckos, you help this channel a lot, thank you so much. Most of you are already like here for 3 months, this is insane. Here are my other social media to check out if you like, and of course check the videos in the end card. I heard they're supposed to be pretty good. Have a wonderful day!
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be